Welcome to episode 8 of the Panorama Van Build. In this build, we're gonna do air conditioning. In the summer, I hate sweating, especially at night. I want power, so if I have access to shore power or a generator, I can have air conditioning. So I installed this very high efficiency air conditioner, uses very low power, and I'll go into all about that. So in this episode, I'm gonna show you how I made this enclosure and installed this air conditioner. The selection of the air conditioner was very important. I needed something that was the smallest air conditioner out there. I really don't need 5,000 BTUs, but that's about the smallest you can find. But there's some 5,000 BTUs that use a lot of power and some that don't. So I searched and searched and looked everywhere for the smallest air conditioner that had the lowest amount of power usage. Now there's some that are made for electrical cabinets, but they're crazy expensive, 500 and 1,000 and higher for something that's 2, 3, 4,000 BTU. I got this one at Home Depot, and it can't be electronic because I just want it to be simple. When it kicks on and the generator draws down a little bit, I don't want the computer nanny trying to shut the unit down all the time. So this one is purely mechanical. So it has a simple thermostat, on, off, fan, or cooling. Okay, so here is the model number. You might be able to do a search by that. What makes it really interesting is it only draws 4 amps and it's rated for only 450 watts. We need a generator that runs about half speed at around 450, so a generator that's rated for 800 and a peak of 1,000 should work just great. I've got my energy meter set up and plugged into my air conditioner, and what I'm going to do is put it on. I'm going to put it all the way cold. I'm going to start from off and go as quick as I can to high cool, and we'll see if we can see the jump of getting the compressor and the fan started at the same moment. That should give us our max. So here we go. So about 300 watts. I've seen it kick up over maybe around 450 when it first started up, so we'll let it run a little bit and then I'm going to run this test again. It's been running a few minutes and I'm going to turn it down to high fan so you can see what that draws. So the high fan, when it's running, is about 61 watts. When it first starts up, it's a little higher draw than that. So let's do the kick on test again. So 416, that's a little more accurate. So now it's been running full speed on high, compressor staying on for about 8 minutes, and we're at 360 watts. All the window AC units that I know of no longer come with a condensation drain. The water just sits in the bottom, and then eventually it rises up to where the fan starts flinging it around and putting it through the coils out the back, which actually helps cooling if you're in a dry environment. I'm in an extremely humid environment, so the water builds up very quickly, and then you start hearing it slinging around, and I find it an annoying sound. So I didn't want that, and also when water sits in there all the time, it becomes a home for a lot of pests and mold and mildew, and it just turns out to be a real mess inside. So I drilled a hole at what I thought was around the lowest spot, and I drilled it right here. Now, unfortunately, I miscalculated, and so I had to make a little adjustment here for the water to run off. But that's where my condensation comes out, right here. And how I made the mount, the top part was quite simple. As you can see, it's just a couple of little brackets here. Be careful where you drill. And it's just a 1x2 across here. I will be removing this when I store it, and I've got a great place that I'm going to be storing this, but I'm going to show you that later in the video. The window mount is a pretty simple affair. You know, I like to keep things very, very simple. So I needed something that rested on the door but did not scratch the door, and also provided a good stable platform, and I wanted to make sure that the glass was not involved. So that's why I didn't try to raise it up any higher. So this is a simple platform. It's just made out of 3/4 inch plywood. And if you see here, very simple construction, 1x2s, and then the top, I put several coats of the clear gloss paint I've been using to keep it waterproof, especially right here. I caulked that in and put lots of paint on it so everything's waterproof. Now on the bottom, I had an old rubber mat around, and so I just cut a piece here. I only put staples on this edge so that the staples don't touch the door trim, the top trim, or the exterior paint. Now a side benefit that I found out was by using this, and you can see it's just loose fitting here, This actually was a really good sound absorber to keep that vibration transmitting into the metal door. If you've ever had a squeak inside your door, you know how a door can amplify sounds. So for lining it up, there's this bracket right here, which is normally where it rests. Normally the unit would mount right here, and this would slide up to your window. So your window would be somewhere right in here. But this made a good place, and it's actually a very good balance point on there. The center of gravity is somewhere around in here. So it just butted up to there, made the length this width, and just put two brackets here and screwed it in. Now I did have to add a little bit of tape here because the unit is going to sit inside more. So our window or the insert's going to cut somewhere along here, and I don't want the inside air getting sucked out. Making the window insert takes a bit of patience and is probably a little more of the tricky thing to this job. Now I'll post the video below because I show how to make this corrugated plastic insert in my video about hyper insulated window inserts, and it will show you how to make a template out of paper, how to transfer the template onto this material, and how to cut it. The only difference being, instead of an insert, this goes in where the glass goes. So if you can see here, it goes in that much more. So you need to add a 1/2 inch to your template all the way around so that you can get it to insert in where the glass goes. Same over here. Also leave extra at the bottom, right here, so you can make a little flap here so that the water can hit here and run out. And so that isn't connected inside anything. I also made these little weather stripping because you're going to be off a little bit. And so I just rolled up the tape. I made a little roll and put it down here. And this is going to give me my weather stripping. Now none of this is really going to get wet because that's the next step. So once you have the whole piece made, I laid the air conditioner on its back on top of this, and I calculated and traced how to open it. So make it a little smaller and then just keep trimming and trimming and take it away. If you mess up, no big deal. You can get another sheet of this at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's not expensive, and you can use, the great thing is you can use your old one as the new template for the new insert. Now it'd be really wonderful if I could just take my air conditioner inside and slide it right through this opening. Unfortunately, with this design, I can't do that because it has that base right here. So I can't just slide it in and out. I have to lift it up and slide it and set it down. So that requires that I take this piece out, put the air conditioner in first, and then put it in, because I originally wanted to do a one-piece design, but I ended up having to cut it into two pieces because it was impossible to put the air conditioner in and get it fit and get around the mirror and my wind deflector and everything else. Here I've set it in the window, and how I know it's in exactly the right spot is I cut this end here and this end here, so the door will not close unless it is perfectly in place. If the door doesn't close and there's binding over here or over here, I know I have to shift a little bit. So I got the door closed. I know it's in exactly the right spot. All right, there's part one tucked in, nice and tight. I make mistakes too. I actually cut it too short over here. No problems. I just cut an extra piece and taped it on both sides. Here, both pieces are fit in. And this weather stripping is not to keep water out, because water's never going to get here or here or here. The only place water ends up getting is a little bit right down here, drips onto this, and maybe a little bit ends up right here. But since this is so tight into that window molding, none of it ends up going inside. So the next part is what's going to keep the rain off of it. Well, that would be the rain fly. Now this part is very easy to make. You do not have to be very exacting with this. It's very forgiving. So what it is just one long piece, and I have sectioned it so I can fold it up like this if I need to. But where these we're going to store is all the corrugated vinyl folds flat, and that'll be stored under the mattress. The Velcro is up here. I made this little tab here that comes back, and this is going to go up under my wind deflector. Rain in North Carolina has been absolutely non-stop for what seems like a month, so I've had lots of chances to test this in the pouring rain, and it works out very well. So here is our cut here, here's the edges here, and you can see how the water is not going to get to it. So what keeps it from getting in at the top? Well, I use my wind deflector, and there's a piece of Velcro here, here, and here that matches up. So this little lip tucks up underneath it and attaches to the Velcro, and that holds it in quite securely. I did have to put a little piece of tape to protect this corner here because the water would come here and now it hits this. So then it's going to slide down here, and it doesn't matter if it gets in between here because this is watertight. with the vinyl being inside the window track. And so the water will just come off the edge and it drops down, and occasionally a little bit will hit right here and make a little splash here, and then it runs back off. So it runs up and over. I did put another little piece of tape here. There was a little gap there. Then it's still protected by the wind deflector. And so this has a bit of a curve to it. So most of the water comes off the roof, hits off here, goes onto here. Most of it comes down this way, down this slope, and it continues and slopes out this way. So it ends there. And so the water will just come off and drop off this edge here and come off of here. And you can see I have it angled to where it comes out, and so make sure the water drains this way. How it looks, not bad looking. And I'll show you, give you a close up on how all the edges work inside. You can see, very tight there. Spin around. You can see there's no light gap, so great for keeping the bugs out and keeping the heat out. You may be thinking why I chose the front window. Well, it would have worked just fine out the back window. I can actually unpop the glass and I can let it go farther out. The thing is, I like to sleep with my head down here, and I don't want the air conditioner right over my head. It would be annoying and very loud, so I wanted to put it in the quietest place possible. So I put it up here in the front window, and the compressor is on the outside on this far edge, so that noise goes out that way. Also, I can move the chair up like this, and that knocks down some noise, and this is going to be the intake. Now, the problem I found is that the air up here just tends to recirculate back into itself. So I needed to get the air to the back where I was sleeping, and I found the perfect way to do that. Yes, you can make everything out of duct tape and corrugated vinyl, including an air duct. So this is a very simple thing that I made, and what it does is it takes the air and it pushes it out this way. So it blows here, hits this corner, is diverted this way, and then it flares out here. So all I did was just make a U. This is one big piece that I just folded twice, and then I cut it here, and I cut it here, and then I just bent this down, and then I put screws in it. Here's an example. Yeah, the screws hold things great. So you can put a screw through the side, and you can see right there how it can hold things in place. And then I add a little duct tape just to make sure it was airtight. So let's put it on and try it out. I did this little tab here. This is going to hold the bottom on. I did need to put a little tape to hold the top on, but it's reusable. Here's the modification in place. So now when I put the seat up, it draws air in from the front where it's going to be the warmest. I have this buffer here of the chair for both noise, and then you can see that shoots right over the top straight to the very back of the van. So if you've been watching this build series on the Panorama van, you know this is one of the special things I'm maintaining, is this beautiful, beautiful view of this van. It has windows everywhere. And so everything is built from the windowsill down, but yet this van can do it all. It's got dining for 5, it's got a kitchen, it's got a half bathroom, a full bathroom, it's got a shower, it's got an office, it's got combinations of everything, and it is quite a cool van. So I'll put links down below to all the videos, plus links to all the products down below as well, so you can check those out. I think you really enjoy the one. My favorite one is the one on the full shower, the full bathroom, and the toilet and all those things. So you can check those out. So now it's running. I have it on low fan, and I'm going to be quiet for a minute and let you hear the sound level. So it's just a very nice, quiet hum. No vibration. You can't hear the compressor because it is facing out that way. Here is a shot outside from it running. And you can hear that compressor running, and that's really the loudest part of it. And so all that noise is getting shot out in this direction. And it's really not even noisy up close here. You get airflow from here all the way to this angle here, which is perfect for coming back. So let's check out the usage. So what's our meter saying? It is pulling down 362 watts. So the next thing to talk about is where we're going to store this thing. Well, I had a brainstorm and I came up with a fantastic idea. I have this space right here. Now, a lot of people will put their porta potty here in a box, and I was going to have a seat there. So I've got plenty of room to put this air conditioner right here. So I'm going to build a box that's going to store the air conditioner. It's also going to double as a seat. It's also going to triple as the baffle box for the generator, because the generator that's coming is very small and very quiet, but I want to make it even quieter. So I've been studying up on baffle boxes. So that box will sit right here and it'll serve all those purposes. So if you're interested to see how the generator turns out, it's not here yet, but it'll be in the next video. Tune in next time, catch the next video on it, and I'll show you how it connects up and hopefully has no trouble running our window air conditioning, so that wherever you are, you can kick on your generator, use very little fuel, and be very comfortable for 6 hours of air conditioning. So here's one more thing it does. While it's running, it should be able to also put out a 4 amp charge to my batteries. There should be enough power left over for that. So that's going to be an interesting test. Now, you've stuck around to the end. I want to show you something special. I've been working on the cabinet facings, and they're about dry, and I found some really interesting wood, and I'm real pleased with how they're turning out. I went to Lowe's and I was going to buy some Luan to do the cabinet facing, and if you're lucky, you can find some pieces that don't look too bad, but they're still going to have these little filled in knot holes, but it's sanded, and I was going to paint it, so it didn't really matter. And if you're lucky, sometimes you can find some Luan with some nice character to it, and it's very clear. So that was kind of what I was expecting. But what I went and I found something rather unusual, and this is just a floor underlayment. It's to go underfloor when they put vinyl down. But look at this grain. How crazy is that? And I got to looking at it, I was like, man, that would look great to do the cabinets in. So right now I've got all my facings down here and back in here. They're all drying before I put them on. But I wanted to show you how beautiful this wood is. What I did is I used this Minwax polyurethane fast dry gloss. Now it is the oil base, so I like that stuff. It's fast drying, but it's a little goopy to work with. I don't know if you can see, it's not quite dry yet. But look at the depth of that wood grain, and it's got this great shine to it. You can see the detail in it. So thanks for joining me. Here's a link here to learn about how to make that insert. And then also here's a link to the shower one, and then also a link if you want to go all the way back and start at episode 1 and see how all this madness started. It's all here. So I hope you'll join me. Next episode is going to be on the generator. I'm very excited about how this generator is going to go. This is something new, and I think it's going to be great. So I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for subscribing, for watching, for liking, and leaving me your comments.